Hey y'all, and welcome to the Sorry Not Sorry Generation podcast, where we bring you a not so healthy dose of humor and reality as we get our hands dirty with some serious nostalgia and question everything.
Let's dive in.
Hey y'all,
Hey y'all,
it's Misty,
it's Ani.
and today we are doing 90s trivia.
Trivia from the 90s. This is gonna be, I hope, better than the trivia from the 80s. Since
At
the
least
90s is when we were born and raised.
At least we were alive at this point. They had to give us a little credit for the 80s. Neither of us were alive in the 80s, so. But, yeah, I mean, and even then, we didn't do terribly. We just did.
I have high standards for myself when it comes to the 80s, and I did not meet them at all. So,
I mean, to be fair, they asked us some really weird fucking questions. Like, some real weird fucking questions. So,
fair.
hopefully the 90s will make a little more sense. Probably not, just judging by looking at the first card that's right here, and I definitely don't know the answer to that.
Oh, I shuffled mine, so I don't know what mine looks like.
Yeah, all right. Well, with that, should we embarrass ourselves on of the lack of knowledge on our own generation?
100%. Let's do it.
All right. Do you want to ask first, or do you want to be asked first?
I'll ask first this time.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Hit me.
first one. Who was the beloved teacher on Boy Meets World?
Mr. Feeney.
Yes. I didn't even want to. I was like, please, you have to know that. Feeney!
Oh, I love that show. I absolutely love that show.
I rewatched that show when I was living in Philly. I did a whole binge of it.
Oh yeah?
It was so great.
Oh god, I don't think I've seen it since it actually was originally airing.
Oh my god. How much did you cry? How much did you cry when it ended? When they left high school?
It was honestly it was a lot. Like it was just a lot. So, did you watch the sequel that they put out, Girl Meets
World? I tried.
Yeah.
To give it a shot, and it didn't do it for me. Like I loved Topanga and Sean and Eric and Corey, and they were all back, but I'm just like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I really thought about it because I loved the show so much, but I hate sequels like that do the Next Generation thing, and I've never liked any Next Generation sequel I've ever seen or read or anything else, so I'm just like, in order to preserve how much I love about the original show, I'm going to leave it alone, so.
See, there was a show I started with the sequel. I watched, so Degrassi was a show in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I started with Degrassi The Next Generation, and I absolutely loved it. When they started the one after that one, I was out. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fair. I've heard a lot about Degrassi. I remember it being on TV a lot, and I knew it was something a lot of people watch. I never saw any of it.
Yeah, Drake will always, forever and always, for me, be Jimmy, who got shot and was forever in a wheelchair after that.
Okay.
That's who Drake will always be to me. Jimmy in a wheelchair.
All right. That is good to know. I did not know any of that, so sure.
So when I heard that, there's this new up and coming, artist, whatever, Drake, I'm like, that looks like that is Jimmy. Like, what is Jimmy doing rapping?
That's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. I couldn't imagine looking at Drake and thinking anything other than Drake. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Give the Next Generation a shot. You might enjoy it. You might actually, yell at it a lot, but entertainment.
Is it petty high school drama?
It's all set in like junior high and high school, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. I remember one episode where Emma and her friend, I forgot her name, so it was an M. Emma and her friend start being rebellious, and they start giving one of the older guys like blowjobs in like his van in the parking lot, and then one of them ends up with like chlamydia, and I'm like,
I'm sorry,
we're not holding back any punches in this show. There was another episode.
With everything you know about me, what makes you think I want to watch that?
They're not showing them doing it. It's just they get in the truck and they come out. You know what they did. But sorry, the van. There was another episode where Emma and her friend started to like count their calories and eat less and less because they want to lose weight. So the friend ended up stopping because she's like, I can't do this. I want my cheese or whatever, right? And Emma ends up becoming bulimic because every time she eats something, she go and throw up, and she got sick and hospitalized and everything. There was another episode where I forgot her name. It's not Claire. Angela? Something like that. She's having a party at her house while her parents are out of town, and someone brings ecstasy and she takes it thinking it's Tylenol, and then she's on drugs the whole night, embarrassing herself. I'm like, this is so not the high school experience that I ever, got. So interesting to see how fucked up the rest of them are.
No shit. But does sound a lot like high school where I went to high school.
But this is all in Canada.
Oh, all right. But yeah, no, that sounds a lot more like shit people at my high school would have done. Like, I can genuinely say I didn't go to like parties and shit like that. I mean, I went to like a couple, but nothing like the stereotypical American high school party. Like, no.
Not your scene at all.
Have you met me? Have you met me?
I know you.
Girl, like, please. Anybody who spent more than 5 minutes with me can understand that. Like, come on, no. I did not go to any typical. I went to like a couple of parties, but they were with people like that I knew and shit like that. So, and there was no. In all honesty, I will say 100% in my high school experience, nobody pressured me to do drugs, drinking, and like none of that. Like I experienced none of that peer pressure bullshit that people told you were going to experience.
I never got peer pressured. I have the opposite story of that. So when we went to Armenia, summer of junior year, before senior year started.
Yeah.
The night before, or like 2 nights before we're gonna leave to come back home, my friends and I decided we're gonna go out to this club that everyone's been going out to almost every night, because like we're not part of the in crowd, we have no business being there, it's not our scene. But just to do it once, let's go and check it out.
Yeah.
So we did. And it's underground. B, there is absolutely no windows and no ventilation.
That has to just smell.
Wait. There is a wall at the rear that is nothing but mirrors and people dancing in front of it and strobe lights. The place is got a heavy fog of hookah smoke, cigarette smoke, and cigar smoke.
Ew.
So there's just a haze of that. Oh, dude, when we were getting our hair done at a salon, the people doing our hair were doing our hair with cigarettes in their hand, just blow drying. I'm like, this is great.
Well, I couldn't have done that.
Remember, Talad she has asthma, so it's great for her.
Yeah.
So we went to this club, and Lara and Talad are off doing I don't know what. And I didn't click that we can't stay here long because Talad has asthma and there's fucking smoke everywhere with nowhere for it to go.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we ended up having to leave, because poor girl, she started like, I gotta go. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So they're doing I forgot what. I sat at the bar next to one of the guys that I sometimes talk to. He was, I ordered myself a beer. He was smoking, so I bummed one off of him. And like I will smoke cigarettes socially, but rarely. It really depends on my mood. So I bummed the cigarette off him. I'm sitting there smoking and enjoying my beer, and then I see our class president come out the bathroom, who, by the way, is already legally blind. With contacts and like thick glasses, she still can't see from like 5 feet from the board. So our class president comes out, just already like she's already plastered, and she's just like, I can't see. I'm like, well, clearly you can't fucking see. And then she's got like toilet paper stuck to the bottom of her shoe and just walking around. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, our student body president.
Okay.
And then another one of the girls, like maybe 2 minutes later, like again, also drunk and plastered, runs towards me, screaming my name. Like we used to be friends, like, or friendly when we were younger. So like, and we never really not liked each other. So it's just we never hung out.
Yeah.
So there's like some kind of friendliness there. And she yells my name and takes the cigarette out of my hand and like stomps on it. And she's like, don't you know smoking is bad for your lungs? And I just stared at her. Like, I'm like, isn't alcohol bad for your liver? Like,
yeah, just a little.
I had one cigarette. I didn't even get to finish half of it until she, stomped it out. I'm like, you've clearly had, I want to say, more than 5 drinks.
Jesus, okay.
Like, which one of us is worse off here?
Yeah.
So after she turned around and after I said that, I'm like, I'll damage my lungs. You can damage your liver. It's fine. None of your business. And after she left, I turned back to the guy. I got another cigarette. I finished that. I finished my beer, and then I realized we need to leave because of Talat. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
In all honesty, it just sounds like a wreck more than it does anything else. So.
Oh, we were at Lake Sevan one day on our trip. The water is beautiful. It's crisp. It's cold as shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't swim that day because it was a little too cold and I was on my period. So I had like a jacket that cut off at the elbows.
Yeah.
So it was white and had like purple and blue stars on it. So I had that
Mhm.
zipped up and a tank top underneath, and I had my shorts on, and I was wearing my shorts. So chest cleavage out, right?
Yeah.
Not as big as it is now, but still, it's prominent at 17. Um, so we're
I don't think
walking
we were
down.
ever like small girls. Like, let's
No,
be honest.
we were not. We were
We
not.
went from completely flat chested to just like holy shit.
Yeah,
So
not wrong. So we're walking down, and one of the girls she was voted loudest in our grade because she is. I don't like her. Loud as hell. She came up because I have the discoloration over my chest,
Mhm.
like where my tattoo is, and like if I get more sun, it'll kind of spread, right? So it's more
Yeah.
obvious. So she walked next to us, and I guess she saw it, like she never noticed it before, not like anybody in my school would.
Yeah.
But she saw it and she went, "Oh my god, what is that?" and smacked me right on my chest. And I freaked out thinking there was like a bug on me. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "What is that?" I'm like,
My
"My
flesh.
skin. It's my skin. Can you please not touch me?" And then when she did that, the vice principal heard that and came over and stuck her face in my chest. I'm like, "Can y'all back off?
Oh,
Like, I'm
like
fine.
no.
You
Like
don't need to examine me. I'm fine."
don't touch me. Don't get your face near me. Like no. Like It's slapping people. Like what the fuck?
Oh
It
yeah.
just sounds uncomfortable.
The last night when we were at the hotel and everyone's in the lobby, we're getting ready to go, right?
Mhm.
We're sitting, me, Lara, and Tala, we're sitting at next to our dean and our tour guide for the whole 2 weeks, right? And we're just chit-chatting and blah blah blah. And I guess the accountant guy, the guy that's in charge of money at the school that my mom has never liked. My mom always says she would drown him in a teaspoon of water if she ever got the chance.
I love your mom. Oh my god.
um she absolutely hates him. And then we were like he overheard us talking, and he's like, "What did you say?" And I just looked at him like, "None of your business." Just flat out. And he's like, "Oh, is that what you think? None of my business." Like he's like, "Let's see how what happens next year." I'm like, "What are you gonna do to me? I have straight A's. Like, the fuck are you gonna do to me? Like,
No
you got
shit.
nothing. Like, bye-bye."
Like try me, bitch. Like come on, what you gonna do?
Basically, I was like, "None of your business."
Oh.
Like, fuck off.
All right.
I told my mom that, and she's like, "That's my girl."
Oh, I love it. That's great. Oh. I suppose we should ask another trivia question because we've
We
been
should.
recording for half an hour and we've only managed
Done
one
one.
trivia question.
I remembered stories.
I mean, that's fair. Started with Mr. Feeney, and like that's the best way to start anything. So, and honestly, I just don't really have a lot of high school stories. So my
That's
high school
fine.
experience is
I mean, I have interesting one. Like, I have very niche stories.
yeah. I have not a lot of stories, in all honesty. My high school experience was just unpleasant from beginning to end in varying different ways. So that's when we lived with my stepdad. So
Right.
I'm just like, yeah, none of it was great. So just a several year period of survival. So and I was just like,
I mean, you can tell whatever stories you want. These are just ones that come to me, and I'm going, she'd get a kick out of this.
that's fair. I rarely remember story like Jesus.
I mean,
If
it's
somebody asked me, like, right now to tell them a story about my high school experience, I'd really have to think about it, so
start like all I can tell you is start with your anime club. That's all I remember that you actually enjoyed.
that's true. I was a part of the, Japanese Culture Club for all
There you
4
go,
years that I
Japanese
was
Culture
there,
Club.
so that was the only interesting part of my high school experience. The rest of it was boring and stupid and boring, and I did have one teacher who, put up she was really weird. She was 62, I remember
Okay.
that, because she didn't wanna live to be 63, and she made sure she told us that, and she's like, "I'm getting too old."
Do we need to be concerned she's gonna commit suicide before she turns 63?
This, seems more like a woman who is just, like, unhinged in, like, different ways. Like, this is my AP English class from my senior year, and this woman who is in her 60s, who looks like she's in her 70s, wears extremely low-cut blouses,
Oh
um,
god, why?
and when she goes to teach, like, because we had these giant round tables for this class for whatever reason,
Like
and
cafeteria roundtables?
yeah, like, they were pretty big, and they sat, like, we were kinda spaced out a little bit at each table, but there was, like, 5 of us per table.
Oh shit.
And when she would go to teach, like, somebody, like, she was helping somebody with something, instead of going around to their side, she'd just lean full cleavage out across the table,
Ugh.
and it made a lot of guys that were there, like, super uncomfortable. I mean, like, it made everybody else uncomfortable too, but you could see it when it was happening because the guys were just, like, suddenly just, like, not looking directly at her. And she had these photos of flowers that were on the wall, and they were of, like, lilies and stuff like that. And on one of the first things that she said to us on the first day of class, she's like, "Those are pictures of flowers, but they don't really represent flowers, just so you know." She's like, "A lot of my photos represent the female form."
Okay.
And it's just like, you just told a bunch of minors and guys who are also minors that you have a bunch of pictures that you consider, even though they're flowers, to be pictures of vaginas all over the wall. And yeah.
Okay, very unhinged. Very, very
Yeah.
unhinged.
So that was our first class too. It's the only reason
First class of
I've
the day?
no, it wasn't my first class of the day, but it was my first class with her, and it was like my senior
Oh.
year. So I'm just like, okay, this is great. She did, however, once give me a $10,000 violin.
Where did she come about a $10,000 violin?
She
And
had a
why?
violin, and
And just
we
gave
were
it to you?
well, we were talking one day in class because my friend Mylin, her little sister was in orchestra, but at the time, her sister was in middle school, and we were talking about I had Margita, my friend's sister, has to borrow her instruments from the school
Right.
because her parents can't
Yeah.
afford to go out and buy like violins and stuff like that. And somehow in the middle of class, like, my teacher was talking about, like, instruments and how more people should be involved in music and why don't they just buy, like, these instruments and stuff like that, and I told her, just like, "Those things are expensive. A lot of those orchestra kids, even here or in the middle school, have to rent their pieces, and, like, they can't." Because she was complaining, I think, about how, like, they didn't practice and, like, all this stuff. Like, well, they can't practice because a lot of them can't take them from the school, and, like, you have to practice here, and, like, and so we were talking about that, and she seemed really surprised by that, and I told her, just like, "Yeah, not everybody can afford to buy a violin." I said, "I have a friend of mine whose little sister has to borrow hers from the school, and she has to, like, sign it out and everything whenever she wants to take it home to practice."
Right.
And, so because they can't afford to go out and buy her, like, a couple $100 violin, like, not everybody can do that. She seemed really surprised at this information, which was really weird to me because 'cause I'm just like, "Okay, that just seems, like, realistic in all honesty."
Like, you didn't realize that people don't have money? Just
Yeah, and I'm just like,
coming out of
especially
a
at this
tree?
school, like, have you seen the students at this school? Like, holy shit, we were not, like, we're not great. Jesus. Like, our school is run down, everybody's broke, and we're voted one of the worst schools in the district. Like, Jesus. So, um,
I mean,
I
your
was
location wasn't that great either when you're just right across the street from where everyone gets abducted.
oh, that's fair. That's fair. Right.
Like,
Literally like a stone throw away from 1960. Yeah. So, um, but but yeah, and like so I was telling her all this, and she seemed surprised, and she's like, "So she plays the violin?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "And she doesn't have one?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'll bring you one." She's like, remind me, and I'll bring you one on Monday. And I'm like, okay. And I reminded her. She brought me a violin, and I'm just like, okay. And I went over to my friend's house that day, and I got stopped by several people that I knew, and they're just like, "When do you play?" Because I'm carrying around this violin all
Yeah.
day,
You're like,
and it's
it's
like,
not for me.
yeah, and I'm just like, it's not for me because my friend had graduated at that point because it was my
Right.
senior year, and my Lynn is a year above me, and so I walked over to her house after school, and I brought them a violin. They had no idea that my teacher had been because I didn't tell them because I wanted it to be a surprise, and they had no idea. And then I just show up at their house one day, just like, hey, I got a
I
violin
got
for
your
my teacher,
violin.
and my Lynn's just staring at me like, what? And she's like, what? Where did you get a violin? She's like, you didn't buy it. And I'm like, no, I didn't buy it. And I said, my teacher gave it to me. And she's like, how did you get a teacher to give you a violin? And I said,
I asked.
very weird circumstances. And I said, but yeah. And it's like, so here you go. And then my Lynn's dad ended up doing some looking into it. And it was like a $10,000 violin. It probably $10,000 in like good condition. This was in like mediocre condition.
Okay.
But yeah, if they'd fix it up, it would be worth money. So, but yes, that's how I got a $10,000 violin from a teacher for free. And I told my teacher like the next day, and like that she really appreciated it and everything. But they were really surprised when I showed up at their door with a violin for her for her. It's just like, there you go. So, but yeah, that was one of my that's probably one of my odder experiences in high school. So, and all of my high school experiences are some degree of odd. So odd and unhappy. It was just like from start to finish. So it was a time. It was not a great time. So
We'll dig up some more interesting stories along the way, I'm sure.
I'm sure I've blocked out stories of high school the same way I blocked out stories of castles and poor people. Like they'll
I'm
resurface
sure.
as we talk about them. Like repressed memories. It's just like, and those are some old repressed memories. So, because most of it, like, I don't know, high school was boring too. Like it was just boring.
Junior year was my best year. Like I had the best grades, the best attitude.
Yeah, I think. Mm, I think senior year is probably the year I enjoyed the most, just because it was coming to an end and I couldn't fucking wait.
Yeah.
And but it was also the easiest year too.
I had
Like,
such senioritis, like I did not give a shit
yeah,
at all. Like,
yeah,
and I knew that my grades, my GPA would take a hit, but it wouldn't take a
mhm,
major hit. Like I had a 3.8 GPA in junior year, and then by senior
yeah,
year when I graduated, I had like a 3.5 or 6. I'm like, that's really not a big deal because
yeah,
I already got like the school that I went to, Starfleet Academy. Uh, at the time, back in '08, you needed a 2.5 GPA or higher, and if you had higher than that, you didn't need an SAT score. I
yeah.
had a 3.65 cumulative and like a 14 something on my SAT. I'm like, I'm already in, so I
Fair
don't
enough.
give a shit.
Fair enough. Yeah. I didn't really give so much of a shit about my grades. Like as long as I passed, I didn't really care because it wasn't important to me. And like I said, I was dealing with other shit,
Yep.
and grades was probably like eight or ninth down on the list of other things I was dealing with. And as I went through high school, my grades got better, but my math grade was always trash. Like it was garbage. And I think the year I worked the hardest was my junior year because that was when we took these state mandated tests.
Oh,
And
okay.
like in your junior year, I don't know how the ones in California work, but in your junior year in Texas, if you pass all of them, you don't have to take any of your senior year. But you have to pass by the end of your senior year to graduate.
We didn't
So
have any of those. Like we had the standardized testing up until like the end of junior high, and then
yeah,
we had our irregular and AP classes in high school, and then we had our AP tests like a week before finals or whatever.
yeah, no,
We took APs, and that's it.
Texas has a week of mandatory testing every single grade level. Doesn't matter
No,
what you are.
ours stopped after 8th grade because it's like you don't need this anymore. Now it's your SATs and your APs.
Yeah. I think Texas does it for I want to say every grade level. I know they do start it in elementary school because I've heard Ariel talk about it. But we had to do it. It's a whole week of testing. You have to go into a different classroom. You have super strict rules about what you can do, what you can't do, what you can bring, like when you can open certain parts of the
Pages, you
packet.
gotta wait for them to say, wait for the instructor to say start the next page, the next
Yep.
section, whatever. Yeah.
So, but it's like a whole week, and I worked really hard my junior year because one, if you pass them all in your junior year, you didn't have to take any in your senior year. And that whole week while everybody else is taking them in your senior year, you have half days every day. So you don't have
Nice.
to be there until noon, and we got out at like 2:30 or something like that. So you didn't have to be there for more than 2 hours, which is stupid that they just didn't give us the week off, but they threw a huge fit if you didn't show up. But you had to be there for like the whole week, and that was my goal. That was my goal. I was like, I wanted to pass, not because I couldn't graduate, but because I wanted a week of half days. And I'm like, let me sleep in. Please let me sleep in. And I did. And I passed them all. I think I only hit, there's 2 different levels. You just like pass or you pass with honors. And I, out of like the 5, I think I passed 2 with honors. I scraped by with passing math, and that was enough for me. And because I didn't pass the ones in my freshman and my sophomore year for math, which
Got it.
literally didn't matter at all. Like, they didn't do anything to you. It didn't affect your grades. It didn't affect anything. They're just like, yeah, you didn't pass. And it's just like, okay, and so, but I passed my junior year, and that was the one that mattered. So I was like, yes, that was the whole point. So
I mean, hey, as long as it's done, it's over with.
yeah, that was I was in my senior year. I was probably the best year, but it was also the year I did the least, I think.
Yeah.
I was not interested in doing like a whole lot. I was a senior and I was arrogant about it. So I was just like, because my thought was, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't have to see any of you people again. I never
Right?
have to walk into this old ass, weird smelling building ever again. And I was happy about it. So they did cheat us out of our very last day, though, because they had our very last day of school, our senior year. They had us all the seniors meet in like the gymnasium, and
Right.
to like talk about graduation and stuff like that. And we figured we had to like go to class and stuff after that, because in the morning they had you meet, and then we figured we all had to go to class afterwards. And they're like, "Okay, you guys can just go home now." And it's just like, you didn't have any of that like last class, last day kind of stuff. They're just like, we were literally in there for like 30 minutes, and then they kicked us off campus. And it's just kind of like,
Bye.
okay, yeah, no, I didn't want to stop for a moment of nostalgia at all. Like, that's fine. And then they just like kicked us off and left. And you're just like, okay, bye. Don't come back. Don't be late to graduation. So I'm just like, okay, sure. And it was a really bizarre experience. And I'm just like, okay. So, but yeah.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
You want to ask
So
me the next question?
Yeah, because this is super derailed. We're an hour in, and we have asked one question. I really wonder how much of all of that I'm going to cut out, or if I'm just going to like move the one question we've asked to now, and then go from there. Because yeah, we've done one question in an hour, so okay. What was the first book of Goosebumps? Was it Say Cheese and Die, Girl Who Cried Monster, Welcome to Dead House, One Day at Horrorland? I can
I
honestly say that's not
want
a
to
series I ever
say
read.
I did not read Goosebumps. I want to say it's Welcome to Dead House.
You are correct.
Yes.
I watched when I was little. I watched one episode of Goosebumps, and because Power Rangers came on right after that, and I hated Goosebumps, but I'd never seen like a full episode. I'd just seen pieces, and I knew it was scary. Well, the first and only episode of Goosebumps I've ever seen. And you have to note, I've had cats my whole life. My
Right.
whole life. We've never not had any cats. And at some point, like the only episode I watched, because I decided to watch it because there's nothing else on, and Power Rangers came on after that. It was the one episode that involved cats, and like this cat had died, and like it kept dying, I think, and every time it died, it turned more and more into like this horrible monster, and it was getting bigger, and it was fucking huge. And then like it scratches you, and you start to turn into like a cat demon zombie thing too, and like you just start acting really weird, and you just start like mutating. And then one of the last scenes is it reveals the giant scary creepy like cat monster that's like 7 feet long and has like a giant crocodile jaw and just made this horrible noise. And it just honestly, because I think I was like 7 when I saw this, it gave me nightmares for so long. And I will never forget like looking at that image of that weird, disgusting, creepy cat monster after it's because I think it was like in a basement or something like that. It just terrified the shit out of me. And I actively refused to even go onto that channel for a very long time. So,
Yeah, I think I watched Goosebumps episodes here and there, but my favorite was Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was my favorite show. I
yeah.
didn't care if it was day or night. Even if it was dark outside or not, I would not turn the lights on. I just sit there. I'm like, yes, the music it calls to me with the Midnight Society and their stand. Yes.
All right. Next
All right.
question.
All right. Oh, you should know. We should both know this.
Okay.
Which was the last Harry Potter book to be released in the 90s?
Ooh.
Azkaban, Chamber, Goblet, or Phoenix?
I'm going to say chamber.
No,
Is it Azkaban?
Azkaban.
Yeah, I knew it was one of those were my 2. And it's just like I know it's not Goblet because the last one came out when I was in high school. So I'm
That was
like
like
it can't be.
2007, I think, or
Yeah, it
six
was
when the seventh one came out.
I think it was 7 because I think because I started high school in '07, so I think it came out my first year of high school. Um, but because I remember getting it, but I remember reading 6 and 5 in middle school, and I'm just like, like it can't be Goblet of Fire because like that's too close together. So, but yeah, I took a shot in the dark and went with the earlier one. So
Yeah, because I was thinking in my head, I'm like 96 or 97 was Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone,
yeah,
and I guess 98 was Chamber, and 99 would have been Azkaban.
yeah, makes sense. So. Which really is weird because then you realize how if like '07 was when the last one came out,
Yeah,
it's kinda like
I
putting some
know the
years between
fifth
them.
one. The fifth one came out in '04.
'04.
The sixth one came out in '05. The seventh one came out in like '06 or '07. I remember that because I was in Turkey in 2004 that summer,
Mhm.
and I had my dad and I wasn't gonna be here for the release, so I had
Yeah.
my dad ship it to me when I was there. He did the
Oh.
same thing next year with the sixth book.
Aw, well,
So
that's sweet. How long were you over there for?
in '04 we were there for 6 weeks. In '05 we were there for 4 weeks.
Did you guys do it, like, as a part of the school or
No, Turkey was not a school. Turkey was just me and my mom.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Seeing family, going back, mom just kind of relaxing, doing her reset, whatever.
Yeah, well, that's
2 weeks
nice.
was in '07 with school. We went to Armenia.
Okay, well, that's cool. And see, like, your school actually sounds like it was interesting and did things.
I mean, not as much as your typical public schools or no or private schools.
Our students scheduled trips for anything.
We did have field trips and stuff like that. That was
Mm.
yeah.
I I've never been on a school field trip.
Really?
Yeah. I no, I've never been on a school field trip. Had to really think about it, but I'm just like, no, I didn't. Like, I feel like most of it's joining organizations and stuff like that after school, like sports or something.
Okay.
And yeah, and obviously I didn't do any of that. The JCC didn't do any field trips.
I
Yeah.
went on a field trip with my college for my geology class. We went to
Okay, well, my college is different. I did do that. I had to do that for college, yeah. But like, I'm talking like high school, middle school, and all that, or even
Oh yeah, my school had
elementary.
we had field trips every year to different places. I
Mm.
remember in third grade we went to the Museum of Flying in Santa Monica, and I have such wonderful memories of that museum.
Hmm. Well, it sounds nice at least. Like my high school was one of like they were proud when only like 1 or 2 students died that year. Like that was like like that was the level of my school.
Only two
So
deaths this year, Charles.
like we had I think
No
it
more,
was
no less.
we had like a couple dozen students expelled my very first day of sophomore year because of the massive like 50 plus person fight that happened before first period on the first day of my sophomore year. And like that was one of the tamer things that happened at the school. Like, people died. There was a lot of, like, especially my freshman year, there was a lot of gang violence my freshman year. Like, most of them graduated by the time I was a sophomore, and they were all gone by the time I was a junior. But my freshman year was an experience. So there was a lot of gang activity in my school my freshman year. So, and kind of like my sophomore year, but really heavy in my freshman year. So my school had other priorities besides sending their students anywhere. So we're like keeping them alive. So we spent a whole day in school, well, like half a day in school without any power once too. So like that was fun. I feel like my high school experiences and your high school experiences are very different.
Very different. Mine is very different from a lot of people that didn't have the same kind as you did. Because, K through 12,
Yeah.
same people.
I think I'd rather have gone to your school. Like, it doesn't sound like your life was threatened at any point. So
Life was not threatened. My emotions were many, many times, and my
oh
ego, but
yes.
not my life.
Yeah, no. Our lives were threatened. We had
One of
like I
the
feel like
big
I had a very typical American experience with
You
my high
did. You
school.
did. Let me tell you some of the biggest scandals that happened at my school. One, I think it was class of 93 or 4 cuz she's older than my cousin. They had a newspaper back in the day, like a school paper, and right before right before graduation, she came out in the newspaper.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The scandal. When I was in high school, one of our coaches, very sleazy guy, was found to be sleeping with one of his students' moms.
Oh, that's better. What in my school, the physics professor was sleeping with a student. So, and he works at a gas station now.
I think there was a girl, I don't know what grade this was or what year it was, but there was a girl apparently that got pregnant and she was asked to leave the school because it was a no-no.
We had so many student pregnancies. My school had a daycare just for the students' children.
I know. Yours built a daycare, mine got rid of them.
I mean, to be fair too, like I had probably way more students in my high school than you did in your whole K through 12 school. So,
At our peak, we were 1,100 kids.
My high school, which is only 4 years, was 3,000 plus students.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my graduating class was almost 400 students. So
We were 60.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Like, in all honesty, yours still does sound like a better experience. So like for one thing, like knowing people better would have been nice, but at the same time, if you don't like them, well, there's only 60 of you in your graduating class. You're kind of
You
stuck
get to
with
see
them.
him year after year.
Year after fucking year. And I didn't like the people I saw in passing, but
Right?
hey, so
All right,
I
your
mean,
turn.
very different experiences. I still think I like yours better.
And we're the best of friends somehow.
I mean, the world wouldn't settle for anything less. So
No.
all right, which question am I gonna fail?
No, you're gonna ask me because I asked you
I guess I
the Harry
could.
Potter one.
Who was the first host of TRL? Carson Daly, Ryan Seacrest, Downtown Julie Brown, Daisy Fontaine?
Carson Daly.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I don't know who the fuck the last person is.
I know that name anywhere. I watched that so much.
Yeah.
I watched that show so much. I loved it.
I did not. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay. All right, hit me.
Total Request Live. It's when you call in or they have like interviews with like musicians. Yeah.
Still
Let's
no
go.
clue.
That's fine. What website was not around in the 90s? Amazon, Match.com, eBay, or Facebook?
I would have assumed none of them were around in the 90s, to be honest with you. Wow, did online dating really start as early as the 90s? Like, holy shit.
I think so.
I'm going to... So it's Facebook, Amazon, Match.com, and eBay, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to, from my answer choices, I'm going to eliminate eBay and Match.com. I'm going to say Amazon. God, that doesn't sound right. Well, I'm gonna say Facebook because MySpace came first. So
Yes. Because I
yeah,
think
okay.
Facebook launched in 2007? Or no, before. 2004 or 5, something like that.
Yeah. I'm just like, I would have, honestly, I would have assumed none of them had started in the 90s, let alone Match.com. Like, that was
I
the one that really
know.
threw me. And I'm just like, okay, people are weird. And why wouldn't, like cats, sex, that's the first things they threw on the internet. So, like, cats and sex. So, I'll leave that one alone. eBay just always, no matter what rendition of eBay there is, it always looks like a 90s website. So, I can believe that. And, Facebook only because I know MySpace came first. So I never had a MySpace though. So then again, we both know that I got a Facebook only in like the last 4 years. So
I had a MySpace and I didn't use it all that much because I wasn't really sure how to use it. I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
fair point.
I got Facebook in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
I made it. I didn't start using it until like 2009.
Yeah. I didn't want people to track me on the internet, so I never had any of those. I did have a Gaia Online account, which was it was like a game, but also a digital. It's like Facebook but animated, kind of, but with games and avatars and like shit like that. It was an experience. It was an old experience, but it was an experience.
All right, your turn to ask me.
My turn to ask you.
Yes.
And you had honestly better know the answer to this.
Oh, okay.
What was the must-have robotic owl-like toy?
Furby.
Yes. I was like, I'm not even going to read you the answer choices. You literally just made merchandise with this character on it. Like, I'm not even going to give you the option to get this wrong. Like, no.
That is fair. That is totally fair.
Also, for the record, on the merchandise, with the merchandise that has the Furby on it, I do spell Furby incorrectly on purpose. So
that's fine because we don't
sued
need
by
a
whoever the fuck
lawsuit.
owns Furby. So
I know. We just need our own Furby.
yes. All right, hit me.
All right. Which movie was the first to gross $1 billion in 1998? This should be easy. Titanic, Forrest Gump, Toy Story, Jurassic Park.
Titanic.
Yep.
Yeah. It held that spot of like the most grossing movie for like quite a while, if I remember right. Okay. What did the pager code 143 mean? I don't think either of us ever had a pager.
My mom had a pager, but I never knew how it worked. So what's the number?
143, and then you have answer choices. What's up? I love you. Where are you? Are you free?
143.
Yeah. I honestly have no idea how pagers worked, like at all. I have
Where
no
are
idea.
you?
Nope.
How are you?
Nope. I
I
love
love
you.
you? Really?
I have no idea how you get that out of a 143, but sure.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how pagers work, so.
I like this one. 1134 space 2 space 09. That means go to hell.
Oh. Okay. All right. That's the
I
only one I
don't
need
get
to
it, but
know.
all right.
How do you argue with somebody over a pager? You just like randomly get a wild hair up your ass, be like, I'm just gonna text this person to go to hell. Like, Jesus. Like, what? How do you just do that? Because you have to call a number, don't you? And I guess, and then yeah, okay. I don't know how fucking pagers work. All right. What's the next question? Give me your best
Next
shot.
question is what was the top grossing movie of 1990? Pretty Woman, Goodfellas, Home Alone, Edward Scissorhands.
Are all those movies from 1990?
I guess.
I feel like Edward Scissorhands. Well, I guess it depends on which Edward Scissorhands you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure the only version that's, with Tim Burton and Johnny Depp.
1990 with Johnny Depp, though? That doesn't seem right. I've seen that movie. That seems like it's much more recent than that. Okay, in my head, I'm just gonna eliminate that one. What were my other choices?
Pretty Woman, Goodfellas, and Home Alone.
Oh, shit. I want to say Home Alone, but I don't think that's right because it's simply just a holiday movie. But Is it?
It's Home
Is it
Alone.
Home Alone?
It's
Really?
Home Alone.
Wow. Okay.
Edward Scissorhands was 1990.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. The movie aged much better than I would have expected it to.
Like, I'm checking it. I'm like, oh shit, it really was.
Wow. Okay. I didn't think it was that old. Like I knew it was. I figured it was like the early 2000s. I didn't think it was the early 90s. All right. My turn to ask you.
Yes.
Which of these was not a hit for the Spice Girls? Spice Up Your Life, Wannabe, Become One, Spice World.
Was not a hit?
Correct.
I want to say Spice World because that was a movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I watched Spice World. I watched Spice Girls live in Istanbul. I had that video for whatever fucking reason. I remember in that concert show in Turkey, they performed like one of their hits was "To Become One."
Yeah.
And they all came out fucking naked, just wrapped in like sheets. Like, all right.
That's weird. This is just weird. All right, what you got?
What Pokemon does Pikachu evolve into?
Raichu.
Yep. Your options were Squirtle, Raichu, Charizard, and Eevee.
Oh, yes. Pikachu, the pre-evolution to Eevee. Yeah, totally missed that.
Squirtle's the next evolution from electric to water.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A very obvious jump right there. All right. Which of these racing games was one of the first PlayStation 1 releases? Destruction Derby, Gran Turismo, Ridge Racer, and V Rally.
Gran Turismo?
No.
Ridge Racer?
Correct.
Oh, okay. I remember I got the PS1 and like a week later the PS2 came out and I went back and returned it and exchanged it for a PS2. I'm like, no.
Fair point. I remember I had a PlayStation 1 and then a 2. It was a really long time before I ever had anything else. And I think I got an Xbox 360 at that point. So, and now I have a PlayStation 4. So like a back and forth. But I distinctly only recall one game for my PlayStation 1, and that was a Land Before Time game.
I had a Spider-Man and a Monsters Inc. game for my PS1 because I remember I still had like them in the CD cases.
Yeah.
And then I switched it over for a PS2, and then I got like Spyro, and I don't remember what
else.
I
did have Spyro. I do remember having Spyro. So
I never actually played Spyro, but yeah.
Really? I have Spyro now, so I love Spyro. That was probably the game I played the most. And back then, like you had to insert those little memory cartridges. And
yep, I still have like my 8 not gigabyte, but like my 8. No, maybe it was a gigabyte, like my 8 gigabyte like memory card in the slot. I'm like, yeah, just override whatever I had because there's no saving this.
Yeah, honestly. I never owned one. And so every time I started playing, it would start over from the very beginning. And that is true all the way through PlayStation 2 because I didn't have one for that either. And I remembered when I had a Naruto game for my PlayStation 2, I would play it and I played it for like huge blocks of time to get as far as I could because I knew as soon as I was done, it was all gone. So I just never got a memory cartridge. And I'm just like, okay, so.
I still have my memory cartridge for my GameCube, and I still have my GameCube because I refuse to get rid of that.
I never had a GameCube or like the Nintendo 64 or any of that, so.
I didn't have the N64. I didn't own the Super Nintendo, but I would always borrow it from my older cousins.
Yeah. I remember playing the N64 in a McDonald's back when they used to have those.
That's
in
right.
The McDonald's.
They
used to have Pokemon Snap in there, and I played that a lot. So yeah,
they're all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. I hope you know this. What game came packaged with a Game Boy? Super Mario Brothers, Tetris, Donkey Kong, or Pokemon?
Wasn't Pokemon. Today it would be Tetris because people wouldn't want to fork out money of like his Super Mario Brothers carries money with it and like weight to it. But back then it might have been Super Mario Brothers. I'm gonna say Tetris just because Tetris. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the only game I had on my Game Boy, and I had the Game Boy Color,
Yeah.
was if I think I had it. Okay, I'm pretty sure I had a Pokemon game. I just don't remember which one. I think it was
Yeah.
blue. I think it was. Was there blue? No, I think it was red. I think I had red because I remember the colors being blue. I had Pokemon Red, but I also had 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah.
And I got so annoyed I didn't make it past like level 12 or something.
Yeah, that's fair. I see. I haven't played a lot of console games. I've played a shit ton of handheld games, and most of mine that I've played a lot of were for the Game Boy Advance because I never owned a Game Boy Color. I owned a Game Boy Advance, and it came out. I bought it right when it came out, like the
Mm-hmm.
first time I had a handhold. I bought the Game Boy Advance, and my very first game was Pokemon Crystal. And let me tell you, that was to this day, it is the best Pokemon game. It is the only one that lets you travel through multiple regions. And it's because it lets you go through Johto and Kanto. And so you get 16 badges instead of 8. And it was
I
the game I started,
I
and it spoiled me because none of the other games ever did that.
yeah.
And like I spent so much. It's the only time I've ever gotten like it's just so close to like fully completing. I've never completed a Pokédex even after all these years. You can't complete one now. It's like fucking 1,000 Pokemon out there. But back then you had to be able to trade Pokemon back and forth to
Yep,
get
I
like the
remember that to
evolution or
evolve
whatever.
them and stuff like yeah.
I never had anybody to trade with, so like I could get
I didn't
everything
either.
except for that. So it's just like yeah. But had my very first Pokemon was Cyndaquil, and I remember that. And then I got really excited because I remember I was young, and I when I played Pokemon Crystal for the very first time, and like you get to Cerulean City where Misty's gym is, and for whatever reason, logic has evaded me at this age, and I walk into Cerulean City and it's just like it says Misty's Pokemon Gym, and I'm like, oh, they gave me a gym. And like, no, you dumbass. It's her actual gym, not your gym. And I really genuinely, for about 10 minutes, believed that they had given me a Pokemon gym because at this point I defeated the Elite Four and like I had finished like one whole region and I was just starting another one. And I'm like, oh, look, I get my own Pokemon gym. You dumbass. It's
I
not
got
your
the Game
gym.
Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance? The one that flips open.
Oh, the SP, I think it was called.
Not
Something
the
like that.
square one, the longer one than that.
No, the long one that doesn't flip open then?
That does flip open.
Only one Game Boy thing that I'm aware of flipped open. Because the Game Boy
Game,
Advance is solid and rectangular.
Game
The other,
Boy versions. I'm gonna look at this up now. Not that one. Not that one. Was it the DS? I think it was the DS.
DS is the most recent thing, isn't it?
No, they come up with I think better ones. There's the SP. Yeah, I had the DS. I got the DS. Because my ex.
Because that's from like 2004, right?
Yeah. Then you
Yeah.
have the Boy Micro. I guess that's tiny as shit. DS Lite.
Yeah.
3DS. Um, 2DS. Why? Um, but no, I
Because
got the
2DS doesn't fold. It's really stupid.
So I got the DS, and then I got my ex gave me Pokemon Heart Gold. So
Okay.
that was like the first game that I like played like all the way through.
Yeah. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the only two, like, a generation of games, of Pokemon games that I never played. First, I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck I was doing when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, but the next thing I know, like the game that came out after that was out, and I was just like, I missed a whole generation of game, and it was a redo of the Gold and Silver games, which was the one right before that came out right before Pokemon. I've played a lot of Pokemon games. Like I have played Red, Yellow, Gold, Crystal, the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and I played Ruby twice because I had 2 copies of it. And this Hoenn region is the reason I know best. And then I've played every DS game that came out. So,
Yeah,
with the
when
exception of Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
when I started Heart Gold, can you guess who my starter was?
I'm gonna assume the fire starter.
Cyndaquil.
Cyndaquil was my. It was your very first Pokemon ever. It was my very first Pokemon ever. Oh, we have the same very first Pokemon. That's
And I
so
named him
cute.
Cindy.
Oh, I named
It
mine
was a boy, but I
Rue.
named him Cindy. I'm like, it's adorable.
That's so cute. Mine was Rue. So, oh, we had the very first Pokemon. It was the same. That's so cute. Aww.
I'll get matching Cyndaquil tattoos with you.
100%. Are you fucking with me? Holy shit.
No, I will get a Cyndaquil tattoo with you. Just be like, here's my little
Holy
Cindy.
shit. We're gonna get matching Cyndaquil tattoos. 100%.
Yes.
Absolutely. I would love that. I love
Yes.
Cyndaquil. And is that honestly, Cyndaquil has just such a special place in my heart as my very first Pokemon.
He's such a cute little Pokemon.
Yeah. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, did you have the opportunity to pick up the acorns and make those specialty Pokeballs? I spent so
Yes.
much time in Crystal
Yes.
doing that, making like very specialty Pokeballs. This is my favorite part of the game, and I was so mad it wasn't in the other versions of the game. So, like, as the next generations went on, you couldn't do that again. And it's just like, But yeah, I spent so much time doing that. Oh my god. Yeah, that's cool.
More tattoos. More matching
Yay.
tattoos. Yay.
Yay.
Your turn.
Okay. No. Okay. What Pixar movie was the first completely computer-generated film? Monsters Inc., Toy Story, Cars, Up.
Toy Story.
Yes. I figured you'd know that one.
I was like, you don't even have to tell me that, but I'll let her give me the options. It's Toy Story.
I figured you'd know.
Did you know that when they created Toy Story, someone had accidentally like wiped it from the computers at work? And the only reason we actually got Toy Story was because one of the people that went home from maternity leave and was working from it from home had the other copy.
I sincerely hope they back them up better now. Like,
now,
I can't even imagine how devastated I would be.
Like, you have to recreate all this, and you have like only a couple weeks or months to get it done.
Absolutely not. Like, I can't even imagine how devastated I would be. How much you would just lose your job, like, so fast.
Oh my god. Alright. What was the name of the pink Mighty Morphing Power Ranger?
There's one for every generation of Power Rangers.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. From when we were kids.
Why do I want to say Catherine?
No, it is not Catherine.
No, it's
That's
not.
one of the options, too.
Give me the options.
Katie, Kimberly, or Casey?
Oh, Kimberly. Okay.
Kimberly.
I was like, it starts with a K, and I just like, fuck, what is it? Yeah, no, Kimberly. I went as her for Halloween at least 4 Halloweens in a row. So
nice.
Granted, it might not have been just her. I know the first 2 were her, and then I think the other ones were like different pink Power Rangers. So it's fair.
I never went as a Power Ranger, but I remember going as Jasmine, as Esmeralda, as Ariel, as I had a lot of Red Ranger toys, like soft plushy figurines. I don't know why. Yeah. Even though my favorite was Green Ranger. Tommy was my favorite.
Oh, absolutely. He goes to conventions here all the time. Just all the time.
That's
let
awesome.
me tell you. And he has aged well. Like, he aged very well. There's nothing wrong with that man. Not a single thing.
All right. Your turn.
Which is not considered a grunge band? Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Matchbox 20.
Matchbox 20.
Correct.
They're too hippie, like poppy for that.
That's fair.
All right. Which of these Oh, you already asked me that. Hello. PlayStation 1. Next. What did George Foreman endorse in the 90s?
A grill?
Grill and
Has he ever endorsed anything else? Like,
the options were a punching bag, a bass fishing boat, or boxing gloves.
The 2 of those make like logical sense considering his profession, but a fishing boat. Okay, sure. Granted, a grill doesn't make a lot of sense either, but still.
George Foreman, you know that name, you're getting a grill.
It's like, hey, George Foreman, you know that boat? That bass fishing boat? Like, sure.
Specifically bass.
And specifically bass. Apparently those are very different than in other kinds of boats you could get. So, okay. Tamagotchi is a Japanese blend of what 2 words? egg and watch, computer and pet, pet and got you, or egg and computer?
Computer and pet?
No.
Egg and computer?
Closer, but no.
Really? Because I know tamago is egg.
Mm-hmm. So it's egg and watch.
Egg, and so you're watching the egg. All right.
Yeah. Tamagotchis were the most annoying pieces of shit. They were never happy.
I don't think I had a Tamagotchi, but I did have a Neopet.
Okay, well, that's
They
cool.
were both at the same time, and I remember having a Neopet, and I didn't buy it. I found it at the store in the mall. Like, I was just looking through, like, a bunch of, like, stuffed animals that were on a shelf, and someone had just left their Neopet there, and I'm like, it's mine now. No idea what to do with it, because I had no instructions. I'm just, like, pressing buttons. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
That's fair.
Pretty sure I killed that thing many times.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have a Tamagotchi. I had a Pikachu. Because there were Pikachu Tamagotchis, and I had one, and he was a little shit. Okay, like he was never fucking happy ever, just ever. He was always bitching because he was cold and he wanted to go to sleep, or I wasn't doing enough for him. I wasn't giving enough gifts. It's like, do you ever happy? Are you ever no? The answer is no. He's
Have
never
you seen the
fucking
show?
happy.
Have you seen the show?
That's
like,
true.
Pikachu's never fucking happy. He's a little shit.
He's never happy. He was never fucking happy. Drove me nuts. And I'm just like, really? Really? I would spend so much time too, because like if I wasn't walking enough to earn points to buy him like gifts and stuff, I would just sit there. I would sit there. I did leave it in the bathroom once. I left it in the bathroom and I found it 2 days later in a public bathroom. But I would just sit there and I would shake it until like I earned a lot of points, and like it was so annoying. And I would like hook it to my shoe instead of like holding it, so like it would bounce more. And it was just like, because he was so fucking needy, so needy. And when I was really little, my mom worked at like, I think it was like a PetSmart or something like that, and I left it in the bathroom there, and like I came back 2 days later and it was still there. And I'm just like, nobody's cleaned this bathroom, but hey, I found my Pikachu. Not. Like I found my Pikachu, so
your turn.
Last question.
I asked the last one. I asked the one about the Foreman grill.
Okay. What dance fad took over in the 90s? The chicken dance, the Macarena, the electric slide, the Cabbage Patch.
Macarena?
Correct.
Yeah. I remember everywhere we went, every party, every wedding, every whatever had the fucking Macarena.
Yep. Everything. Like even my like middle school dances had the Macarena in it. It's just like,
everything
why?
had the fucking Macarena in it.
It's just like, why?
All right. And then we added, the electric slide and cha-cha and then later on in my 20s, they started adding Cotton Eye Joe.
Why?
Because did you forget that I used to be engaged to Bumfuck?
That's
fair. And everywhere we went was just Cotton Eye Joe and every fucking tune you could think of, and I'm like,
that's fair.
And people would just be on the dance floor with their, kicking their knees up, and I'm like, I need to leave. I really do not belong here.
That should have been like sign numero uno, like there, like holy fuck, like girl, that's a red flag. That is a red ass flag.
Yeah, there you go. Which NBA star debuted with Orlando Magic in 1992? Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, or Magic Johnson?
Michael Jordan?
No. He was never part of the Orlando Magics.
Literally, no, I have no fucking idea, girl. Like,
it was Shaq.
Okay, sure.
I know that because my dad was a big fan of the Lakers, so he always be like, yeah, Shaq was with Orlando, and then he came to the Lakers. I'm like, okay, Dad, thank you.
Sure. I have no fucking clue. And in all honesty, that is Charles Barkley I played basketball. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Charles Barkley was in Space Jam.
Cool.
The original Space Jam.
Cool. I saw that movie maybe once. Could I name a person in it?
I've seen it so many times. I love that film.
Saw it like when it was new. No. Not a fucking no. What? Who? People? Asking me to name people like real people? Like no.
In sports, no less.
Yeah, even worse. Okay. Hey, this is a movie I think you've seen, and I definitely haven't. So hopefully you would have better luck than I will answering this. Who played Cher in Clueless?
Alicia Silverstone.
Correct. Your other options were Stacey Dash, Reese Witherspoon, or Brittany Murphy.
No.
Even I wouldn't
think
have answered
Brittany Murphy
Reese
was in Clueless, but she was not Cher.
Like, even I would not have answered Reese Witherspoon. Like, yeah, no, she couldn't pass for Cher.
All right,
hit me.
Yeah, we asked that one. What's this? In what year was the World Wide Web introduced to the public? 1990, 1993, 1997, or 1991?
93.
No.
91.
91.
91. I was caught. I'm like 91 or 93. But I'm like, how long did the government have it before it released it? So 91 makes sense. Okay. A Disney question.
Hit me.
Which of these Disney films was not released in the 90s? Toy Story, Oliver and Company, Lion King, Aladdin.
Oliver and Company.
Correct.
I think that was like 88.
I have no idea.
Pretty sure that was 88. All right. Who was the butler on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Do you remember the names at all? No?
Oh, God, no.
All right. Carlton, Jeffrey, Bertram, or Jeeves?
Well, it's not Carlton. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Jeffrey. Yep, 1988, Oliver and Company.
1988. Like, I was pretty sure when he said it, and I was just like, because I honestly, when you said what was the name of the butler, I thought you were going to ask me the name of the actor. And I was just like, I have no idea. I'm so sorry to that man, but I have no idea. So, yeah, no. Okay. This is a stupid question because it more or less answers itself.
Okay.
Which celebrity popularized the hairstyle known as the Rachel?
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
Because she was fucking Rachel?
Yes. It is like, that is a question that answers itself. Like, the
Wow,
Rachel.
that's a lame-ass question.
Yes.
All right. I just got that one, too. We did that one, too. Okay.
You're just getting all the ones we've already done?
What Saturday Night Live star got their start on the show All That? Nick Cannon, Amanda Bynes, Kenan Thompson, or Kel Mitchell?
Nick Cannon?
No. He's not in SNL.
I don't watch SNL, and I've never seen the show that you're watching, and I don't know shit about any of the people you've just named.
You never watched All That? Oh my god, that was SNL for kids. I loved All That.
I don't find SNL funny, so.
See, All That was geared towards us and our humor at the time, so it was perfect. If you watched it now, you'd still love All That.
You really probably overestimate how much I find those people funny.
I'm pretty sure you'd like All That.
And I don't like Amanda Bynes, so.
Oh, I love the Amanda Show.
Oh god, I hated that show. Are you kidding me? I found that woman so fucking annoying. Who are the other two people?
Amanda Bynes, Kenan Thompson, and Kel Mitchell.
Oh god, okay, I don't know who those people are.
Did you ever watch Kenan and Kel?
No.
Oh god. Comedy gold of our childhood.
Like, look, if it was like live with real people in it, I probably didn't watch it. I watched more animated shit than I do anything. Still watch more animated shit than I do anything. I could tell you all you needed to know about Pokemon and Cardcaptor Sakura and Sailor Moon. I just can't fucking tell you anything. D. I'm just gonna go with D. I don't fucking know.
It's not Kel, no, it's Kenan Thompson.
Okay, I have no idea who that is. Oh. Truly, I nope, not a clue.
Such a shame.
As I'm learning, the more we do this, there's a lot I haven't seen. So
I know I haven't seen a lot, and like I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, wow, you've seen even less than I have.
I mean, like, I knew there was like a lot of movies and stuff. Like, I haven't seen like Legally Blonde and like all those other like iconic movies or whatever. But like the TV shows surprised me because I watched what I thought was a lot of TV as a child. Apparently, I just wasn't watching the same things everybody else was watching. Oh shit! Out here.
Okay.
What is it? There's helicopters now. Get over there so you don't fall.
Eh?
There's helicopters everywhere. I locked the back door, by the way. Oh, that's good. You got your bedroom window locked?
We're experiencing a live manhunt here, folks. This is the normal for Misty and her mom in Orlando. Not so much normal here for me in my Valley neighborhood in LA. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the colors of these cop cars and lights in the dark is pretty, but it's pretty. Lots of blues and purples. I count how many? We got one, two, we got three cop SUVs out in front of this apartment. There are copters roaming in the sky above. This is gonna be interesting. Hopefully they leave my friend alone. Oh, I hear doors creaking. I have a great view of Sammy sitting in a little perch. I don't get to see her that often. What does it say about us as individuals that, how do I put this? We see and hear there's a manhunt directly on our property and we go to watch. Not out of fear, slight, concern, but mostly I want to watch the chase. How broken do we have to be? I know I'm pretty broken, which is, that's why I'm funny. Oh, update, all the cops are going through the bushes and the trees to find this person. Personally, I think they should have brought a dog, a canine unit, but that's just me. I heard more hinges creaking. What else? Another update. They're surrounding the whole area. All right. And blocking off the road. I am giving y'all live updates. I'm not meant for news, but it's entertaining me. I hope it's entertaining you. Some cops went around the back to circle the building. All right, shit's getting serious. I mean, the shit is serious, but I guess when you're broken, you have odd standards. Oh, and the helicopter is getting lower. I hear more noises. I really want to know if they catch somebody. Don't worry, I do have a healthy dose of concern from my friend, but also this is Orlando. This is downtown Orlando, so this happens all the fucking time. You've listened to our work horror stories. You know the shit that Misty has dealt with, so she could take care of herself. So can her mom. Her mom's a badass. I hope it doesn't come to that. Although I would pay to see Karen Irwin beat the unholy hell out of somebody. I guess that was a no on that one. Oh, since when? Okay. Oh, I hear noises.
Back.
Tell me everything. Tell us everything.
Okay, so like my mom, I'm sitting here recording with you and I can hear a helicopter going around, but I'm trying to like ignore it because I figured it's the apartment complex behind us. It was not.
Clearly it was not.
Definitely it was not. And my mom comes bursting, she's like, it's outside, it's outside. So like we go to the windows and in her room, because she has huge windows, they look right out into the parking lot that's right there, and there's like 4 cop cars, there's cops fucking everywhere, there's a helicopter above us, and they've like blocked off like our whole like section of the apartment complex, and they're out there, and there's a recreation center right next to like our apartment complex, and there's like this bunch of trees and like field and everything, and they're over there scouring through the whole thing. There's cops going in every which direction. The helicopter's just circling like our little space of area, and it's going all over the place. And like one of the cop cars like moves further down the way, and then another one like starts taking off towards the recreation center, and some of them are getting out and going around the building and like looking everywhere, and they must have like gotten a call or something, because the next thing I know, like all of them are taking off in the same direction. So there's still one in our parking lot down a little further, but they went over towards the recreation center. So
well, alrighty then. I was telling our lovely audience that although I have concern for you, I'm not overly worried because you're a badass and people have listened to our work horror stories. So you know how to take care of yourself. On top of that, your mom's a badass, and how I would pay money to watch your mom beat the shit out of somebody.
Yes.
Just
Honestly,
give
100% true.
Karen a fucking bat and just give her like that one. Go.
At the moment, she's walking around with a massive, like, 2-foot knife, so she's like, "I locked all the windows and I checked the back door." She's like, and then she has a knife, and she's like, "Yeah." So, yeah, it's fair. It's very fair.
I
So,
love
yeah.
it.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt our podcast with a manhunt, but make sure you put that in the description. It's just like 90s trivia dash manhunt.
Coming at
Okay.
you live. Like, what is it? What do they say? We interrupt your. We interrupt
Regularly
your.
scheduled
So that,
programming.
exactly. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for a live manhunt
Yes. So I can
in
still hear
Winter
the
Park.
helicopter. So, if I get up all of a sudden and just like run in a direction, you'll know why.
Yeah. I've been enjoying seeing Sammy just
Aw.
on that spot behind you.
Yeah, she's on the table. She's a good girl. Her and Little Bit, which you can see like in the corner right over there.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
Yep. It's having a staring contest. So
I've got Sammy somewhat look-alike over there.
babies.
That's
Oh,
Cleo.
babies.
She's finally coming around. It's been like 2 years now. She's finally coming around to like be out and, around us. And oh my god, is she vocal. She will yell at you when she wants pets.
Aw. Sam's that way too, though.
She's so soft. All right, your turn.
Okay. Am I answering or asking?
You're asking.
Okay.
Right?
What
Because I asked Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. What 8-film Tom Cruise franchise started in the 90s?
Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Like, no need to say more.
Nobody else has a fucking franchise that long that's just with the same duplicate movie over and over again.
All right. Which of these is not an original Beanie Baby? I would not know this. Patty the Platypus, Chocolate the Moose, Legs the Frog, or Happy the Hippo?
Happy the Hippo?
Yeah, how did you know?
I had a lot of Beanie Babies.
Okay, that's fair.
I used to have a lot of Beanie Babies. And like when McDonald's did their little collection too, like I had all of them. I had all of like the different like holiday Beanie Babies and stuff like that.
I think I still have it on one of my backpacks, but it's the small husky Beanie Baby from McDonald's.
Yeah.
I have that one.
We had all those. We had duplicates that were in the packaging and everything. And
I had a lot of Beanie Babies growing up, but I've never read their names. I'm just like, here, another toy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Not everybody does that. And we had a lot of Barbie collectibles too. So
I have a bag of Barbies, like 2 bags of Barbies. I mean,
yeah,
they won't go for a lot of money now because they're not in any boxes or anything, but they're Barbies.
That's fair. All right. What do the initials of JNCO jeans stand for?
Shit.
Just not really. Just not clams. Okay. Jokes not catching on. Journey now. Carry on. Judge none. Choose one.
Judge none, choose one.
Correct.
I never had Jenko jeans, but I remember Jenko jeans.
Just not clams, okay, is an option choice. And I had to read it twice just to be sure it was just like clams? Clams.
Yep, clams.
Okay.
Just not clams.
So, just not clams, okay. Sure.
Alright, what was the first Mary-Kate and Ashley movie?
Oh.
Billboard Dad, It Takes Two, To Grandmother's House We Go, or How the West Was Fun?
To grandmother's house we go?
Yep.
It was the only one that sounded kiddie enough for that, so.
Like, if you had asked me this question and not said any of the options, I probably would have said Double Double Toil and Trouble.
Yeah.
So remember that one. And I am looking up To Grandmother's House We Go because I'm pretty sure I've seen this. I just can't recall a lot of it, but I know I've seen this.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn.
Who sang the song Closing Time? Semisonic, NSYNC, O-Town, Britney Spears.
Semisonic.
Correct.
Closing time. What year was Google founded? 95, 97, 98, or 99?
Shit. 99?
Close.
97?
98.
98.
Yeah.
And it was at the very tail end of the 90s, and I'm just like, oh, that's a good question. Michael Jordan led the Bulls to how many championships in the 90s? 4 or 5, 6 or 7?
5?
No.
6?
Correct.
Oh.
Just
By the way,
Hmm?
is your coaster for your Mountain Dew the coaster I got you for your dice?
Of course.
Okay. I saw it, I'm like, that looks like something I got her.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, that's my dragon coaster. Of course. It's always had a place on my desk ever since you gave it to me. Though I will say, I will correct you on the fact that it's not Mountain Dew, because Mountain Dew is disgusting.
Canada Dry, my bad.
Yeah. It does look very similar. It's the only things in green bottles, to be honest with you.
That and Sprite, but I'm just like, all right.
But it's held many a dice, so.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, I have that. I love it. And I have the dice themselves up in my giant plushy purple dice.
I got your dice too. I forgot about that. Did I get you 2 sets or one set of dice?
Two. You right. Got me a green set and a black set.
That's right.
I love the sounds of the clicky clackies. Just shake it up. Sometimes I'll just take the container of it and I just shake it. It's like the clicky clacky makes me happy. You'll understand. I'm going to teach you D&D soon. You'll understand the love of the clicky clacky.
So. Oh, I already enjoy the sound of the clicky clacky.
Yes, the love of the clicky clacky. Okay. Yes. Am I asking or answering? I'm answering, right?
Asking. I just asked the Google one.
Oh, that's true. Michael Jordan was before
Google?
Oh,
no, you just asked me that, so it's my turn. My bad. Yeah. Oh, we asked that one. What did AOL stand for?
Oh my god.
Do you want to think about it before I give you the clues?
Always overly long loading times. No, just kidding. Give me some choices.
America Online, Always Online, American Online, or America Overline?
Oh, God. American Online?
No.
America Online?
America Online.
Oh. I'm just like, I can
we gotta be pretentious as fuck.
Oh, yeah. I can picture it, in my head, and I'm just like, oh, is it America or American? Shit. That's fair. That's fair. Honestly, before you said that, as soon as you said America, and I'm just like, oh, it does. It's something America Online. Fuck. So yeah, before that, I was just like, nope.
We never had AOL for internet, but we did have Roadrunner.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. We had Roadrunner, and then that became Time Warner, and then I guess that evolved into. We interrupt this scheduled programming for a live update of this manhunt. Misty is currently staring out her window because there are sounds. Lights have been turned off, and Misty has gone and left the room. Misty has made an exclamation and asked me to stay. We will be receiving live updates via Messenger. Ladies and gentlemen, the police force has brought the canine unit. Update. The apartment complex behind the one that Misty and her mother occupy is full of cops, and now so is the rec center that's right next to their apartment. Sammy's looking at the door going, I am not sure what's happening and I don't like it. I hear voices. Please, tell us more.
I think I've been absent for more of this part of the recording than I have been here. So it's gotten more wild. The apartment complex behind us is full of cops just everywhere. That place is lit up like a Christmas tree. And so is the rec center. And they've got canine units out. They're walking around with their guns drawn. I don't know what the fuck is happening. So,
I'm
yeah.
excited to see how this unfolds.
I just got through taking a survey for my apartment complex not that long ago, and it was like asking you to rate, like, like the quality of the equipment, the quality of like the amenities and stuff like that, the safety of how safe you felt here. I did
Oh
it
yeah,
at
how
the
safe do you
floor.
feel in this apartment complex? How many raids have we had so far?
I mean, to be fair, most of the raids have been the apartment complex behind us, not so much us. Like SWAT team was the apartment complex behind us. But yeah, I kind of want my survey back.
Right? I have adjustments to make on my survey.
And just a few. Just a few. Um, yeah. So that's fun. Who was asking questions? You or me?
You're up. I can't wait till you listen to this recording and just be like, lol, at my newscasting.
I love it. It's amazing. That's why I was texting you so much to see
I
what was
know.
going on. Okay. All right. I'll ask you a question next. Which boy band featured Nick, Drew, Justin, and Jeff? Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, NSYNC, O-Town.
I want to say 98 degrees because Nick Lachey.
Correct.
Yep. What did many girls do to their hair in the 90s? Braid, crimp, shave, or straighten their hair?
Yeah, they shade a lot of bald girls in the 90s. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Crimping, I believe.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
crimped it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I crimped my hair once.
I absolutely never did that. Mostly because it just never occurred to me to do it.
I did it over the weekend, so no one
Hmm.
knew.
Fair point. Yeah. My hair's always just been a poofy mess, so it does what it wants. I don't
Fair.
think crimping would make it look any better or worse. So, um, which kids show featured the character Buttercup?
Powerpuff Girls.
Correct.
The best one. Right? Yeah.
Which
Because
which one is
Blossom was a bitch and Bubbles was
Bubbles? A
useless.
pain in the ass. Yeah,
Just freaking
Buttercup was the
useless.
better one.
Buttercup was the best.
Yeah, that's true. And I agree. Blossom was just a bitch. So,
Uh, Jinko, Boy Band, Tom Cruise. What sitcom was Steve Urkel on?
options.
Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Family Ties, or Step by Step?
Fuck, that didn't help me at all. um, can you run through those choices one more time?
Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Family Ties, or Step by Step?
Well, I can eliminate Boy Meets World.
Yes.
Um, Family Matters.
Yes.
Oh, there's a shot in the dark.
Family Matters.
Okay.
I never watched Family Matters or Step by Step, even though I think I would have really liked Step by Step.
Yeah, I have none of those except for Boy Meets World.
That's okay.
That's fine. It's fine. We're learning all of the things I haven't seen. So, what show premiered in the 90s that Sarah Jessica Parker starred in?
Buffy.
And
No,
is
Sarah Jessica
not a
Parker. Sorry. I'm thinking, sorry. Delete that. In the 90s? Sarah Jessica
yeah,
Parker?
yeah.
In the 90s. A show. Buffy? Why do I keep saying Buffy? Oh my god. It wasn't Sex in the City.
Do you want me to give you the options?
Yes. You can just delete all this later.
Gossip Girl, Living Single, Sex in the City, Girlfriends.
Sex in the City.
Yes. It feels weird that it's been on that long, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, my brain kept seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar and just going Sarah Jessica Parker.
Fair point.
Like, Sarah Jessica Parker was not in Buffy.
Which is interesting because my next question that I have that has come up is Sarah Michelle Gellar related. So.
That's the one I got. What's her most famous TV role in the 90s?
I'm gonna go with Buffy.
Buffy. No, the answer was Sookie.
What?
I don't know the one of the options. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I looked at it and I'm like, what? Oh, they're in my backyard now.
Oh, they're in the backyard?
People are really just gonna assume that I just live in a really shitty neighborhood.
I mean, I did say many times that this is downtown Orlando, so.
And it's just like, it's not even that close to downtown.
You're not that far from downtown.
At least 30 minutes.
Really? It was that far? Didn't feel like it.
Well, the airport, you have to remember, downtown Orlando is like 3 streets. And, I mean, I guess I'm not that far from, like, our main, like, Orlando's main road. I'm probably about 15 minutes from, like, Colonial. But, yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna think I live in a shitty Look, I don't live in, like, a super shitty neighborhood. I live close to 2 colleges. Like, it's not that bad.
No,
It's
it's
like,
just, it's Orlando. It's Florida.
that's fair. Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man's a thing. Alright,
Yeah.
let's
An
see
accurate thing.
how we can do these cards that don't want to cooperate. So, your turn to ask, Sue.
What would you do for one of these ice cream treats?
I'm not looking as it's for I know it's for Klondike.
What would you do for a?
Klondike bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. All right.
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
bar.
Do do do. Honestly, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I'd stand here and hold my hand out until you gave me one, but like me.
What was the forbidden dance that sprang up in the U.S. during the 90s?
What? Um, the forbidden dance, the cha-cha slide. Like I have
No, it's called the lambada.
What? I've never heard of this.
Okay, so I'm looking it up because I don't know either. And says, why is the lambada forbidden? The association of lambada and the idea of dirty dancing became quite extensive. The appellative forbidden dance was and is often ascribed to the lambada, largely due to its link to Mexiques. The true forbidden dance of the early 1920s in Brazil is the Mexiques because of the spicy lyrics and movement. So it's
okay.
I'm gonna say it's like an Afro-Cuban type thing, like you see in Dirty Dancing, like Havana Nights. So I'm gonna go with that.
All right, I can honestly say I've never heard of that, but sure.
Like I know La Bamba, the song. I have not heard of Lambada.
Sounds more like lobotomy. That was my first thought. What was the name of the Brains sidekick in the cartoon that originally aired as a segment on Animantics?
Animantics? You mean Animaniacs?
Maybe. Who's the Brains sidekick?
Pinky!
Yeah, in the show, Pinky and the Brain.
Brain! Oh, you won't. I don't think you'll know this one, but which is not a moniker for Sean Combs? Sean John, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, or Daddy Mac?
The first one?
No.
The last one.
Daddy Mac.
Sure. I had a vague recollection that the middle two were the same person, but that was about it.
I don't know this.
How many days did the Major League Baseball strike last in the mid-90s? Who would know that? Why would anyone know that? Why would people know that?
You saw the answer? Because I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
How many days?
Significant amount of days.
Did the Major League Baseball strike in the mid-90s?
Stupid amount of days. We're talking triple-digit days. Yeah.
255.
Close. 232.
Holy shit.
That is
right.
So many days. Though I'm sure to non-baseball fans, it didn't really register.
Okay.
Hang on.
Hanging on.
They're walking around back there. I can hear, they're walking close enough to my window that I can hear the radios.
You can hear the radios? Jeez.
So, okay. Okay, next question.
Next question. Not a timed game. Anything 90s. A lot of these are like team timed shit, so I have to like go through them. I asked you, so you gotta ask me.
What color eyes does the cat have in the Napster logo?
I want to say they're green.
Correct. What the fuck
Okay,
is
okay.
Napster?
Oh, you didn't use Napster? Did you ever use
Me?
LimeWire?
Yes.
Okay, it was I think right before or during the same time as LimeWire.
I'm Googling this.
Yeah, Google it.
Oh, I don't recognize this logo at all. I have heard of Napster. I didn't realize it was music related. I think. Why do I know Napster? Oh, I think Dan and Phil mentioned it in one of their videos once.
It's my turn to ask, right?
Yes.
I don't know this. I get you probably will not know it either. But whose picture did Sinead? Is that how you say the name? Sinead. It's an Irish name.
Shanid.
Sinead.
Sinead?
Sinead. All right.
Sinead.
So Sinead, whose picture did Sinead O'Connor rip up during her performance of Bob Marley's "War" on Saturday Night Live?
Are there answer choices?
No.
Oh God. Okay.
Throw shit
Sinead.
out there.
Um, Dr. Phil.
No.
Will Smith.
No. Think more religious.
The Pope.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Honestly, who the fuck is Sinead O'Connor?
Singer songwriter. That's all I know
All
about
right.
her.
All right. What company originally bought the popular line of lip smackers on to the market? Brought lip smackers to the market.
I don't know. Uh,
I got it.
I really don't know.
Honestly, wouldn't have guessed it either. Bonnie Bell.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
I have no clue.
Okay. Like this 90s one is like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Alright. What was the popular underwear brand whose logo featured a yellow smiley face?
Underwear brand?
I did not know this one either.
Oh God, all I can think of is Nirvana. They're not an underwear brand.
A smiley face. A yellow smiley face.
Smileys.
Joe Boxer.
Okay. All right, wouldn't have been anywhere in my guesses.
I don't know what this is, but
Number
hang
of
on.
number of
What?
Teletubbies times number of Wiggles. Number of Teletubbies times number of Wiggles.
How many Teletubbies are there? There's the purple one, the red one, the green one, the yellow one. That's it. Yellow, red, green, purple.
Times the number of Wiggles.
How many Wiggles are there? I never watched the Wiggles. Are there 4 or 5 of them?
I can't tell you that.
16 is the answer? 4 and
Could
4?
you show me the answer so I know whether or not you're
I didn't
right?
the answer?
You are correct. It is
I'm right?
16. Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Okay. On that note, what links these clues together? Tinky Winky, Dipsy, and Poe.
What clue links these together? You
What
could
links
tell it.
these clues together?
I mean, they're Teletubbies.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
Teletubbies.
I can literally hear the song in my head. Like, it was such a weird show. Like, I was a little old for it, like, when it was on, but it was always on TV, like, all the fucking time. Faith, Willow, Spike. What clue links these together? Okay, I gotcha. Faith, Willow,
Faith.
Spike. What clue links these together?
My brain wants to say Buffy.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright. Because Spike, I love fucking Spike. Alright,
Yeah.
what links these clues together? White House, Intern, Blue Dress, and Jenny Craig. Okay, you should know this because it
The
was.
there was a movie, right?
No, there was a. This happened. There was a big thing when we were growing up in the late 90s.
Oh,
White
is that when Clinton slept with that chick?
His
Yeah.
intern, yeah, Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking of movies and pop culture, not like douchebags cheating on their wives.
Okay. This is gonna be terrible.
Put these first run talk shows in order of how long they ran from shortest to longest. Ricky Lake, The Arsenio Hall Show, The Monty Williams Show, and Donahue. Okay.
Oh, and how long from shortest to longest? Donahue was the shortest?
No.
No? Montel Williams show? What the fuck? Arsenio?
Yeah.
Really?
It was.
Arsenio was the shortest?
Yeah.
Alright. After Arsenio. Okay, is Ricky Lake the longest one?
No.
Really? Fuck me. Montel Williams is the longest one.
Correct.
Okay, so Arsenio is the shortest. And then Donahue?
No.
Ricky. So it's Arsenio Hall, Ricky Lake, Montel Donahue, and then Montel Williams.
I believe so, yes. I think out of all of this, we've just proved that I know marginally more about the 90s than I did the 80s, but I still don't know the names of people for anything.
Clearly, you are not an avid IMDb'er or of the sort growing up.
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a fuck who the actors behind the screens were on any level, even today. Like, if
And we
I
all know
recognize
that I'm the
somebody,
one. Yeah, we all know that I'm the one that's going to be on my phone immediately going, where do I know this voice or this face from? And I'm like, aha, it was from that one vague show from like the 90s.
yep. I mean, I do it every once in a while when it really bugs me, like when I like recognize somebody's voice, but I don't do it all that often, and I just I don't pay attention to celebrities like on any level. I have a vague passing knowledge of some of the stuff that's going on, but like I don't know their names. I don't know a lot of their names, and I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, that person that was in that thing I saw that one time," and I'm just be like, "Not a clue." But
See,
also, we
yeah, it would bug me if I couldn't like if I recognized a voice, I'd be like, who? Like I have to be able to place it.
yeah, no, I just couldn't care less. I just don't pay attention to any of that, and I'm just like, who?" Like, I was sitting at a table with Ariel once when we were in college together, and they were talking about celebrities, and they mentioned Tom Felton, and I wasn't really paying all that much attention, and then they asked me something about Tom Felton, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, and then they're like, it's
Yeah,
Draco
you
Malfoy.
do.
And I'm like, "Oh, I do know who that is." And it's like, but I didn't know that was his name until like I was in college. And I was just like, "Oh, that's when I learned his name." And I'm like, no offense to Tom Felton, but I'm just like, don't care. And I don't
Yeah.
pay attention to those things. And I just like I can name very few of the actors, even in my favorite movies, and be like, okay, no. I've got no chance, whether it's actual physical like person, voice actor, whatever. I'll be like, okay. But the next one we do will be the 2000s. So from 2000 to 2009, because at this point they've separated the 2010s into their own decades.
Yeah,
So
because after that is 2010, so that's gonna be interesting.
yeah, so that'll be cool. I'm hoping this further along we go, the more I will know.
I have a feeling I'm going to mix up a lot of the late 2000s and the 2010s together.
Oh, absolutely. Fuck. I'm just gonna be like, was this in the early 2000s or like the 2010s? And I'd be like, is that not all one year? Just
No, it is
one
not.
long year.
No, it is not. It is a different decade.
Yes. Yes, it
That's
is.
that's sad.
Just like my 10-year high school reunion has passed. And granted, they didn't, it's not like they held anything. COVID was going on. And even if they did, I wouldn't have flown out to Texas to go to it. But like,
No.
just like my 10-year high school reunion was a year ago. So there's that.
I went to my high school, my 10-year reunion, because I ended up helping to plan it.
No. Well, yeah, you kind of have to go then.
And I only went to just support Lara, who ended up planning the whole damn thing. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, why am I here? Like,
Fair
it
point.
was fun for
Yeah.
just for the moment where going back on campus and just automatically reliving everything. But also because we were what, maybe 40 people, and we all like, or 30 people, we just rushed the new building where we had high school,
Yeah.
and just we sat around the desks in one of a classroom that just happened to be open, and one of us is up at the podium pretending to be a teacher yelling at us. One of the other guys went to the faculty lounge and just sprawled on the couch. He's like, "Yep, never have to do this in high school."
Yeah. Um, I'm not even sure if my school holds reunions, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
I don't recall ever hearing about reunions in the entire 4 years I was there. I don't know if they do that. I would honestly have to contact like the schools, like, you guys do this? I do know, however, two people that now teach there and who I went to school with who are now teachers there. And one of them fucking hates Mylin.
Ooh,
Hates her guts. And, like, when we were in high school, I knew he didn't like her, but I didn't know he hated her. Like, him and I were pretty good friends, too. But he fucking hates her guts. Won't speak to her when they're in the same room. Which is
why?
like, I knew he didn't like her so much when we were in high school. When we were in high school, Mylin was very, like, touchy. Like, she'd grab onto
Okay.
people, stuff like that. And, like, I knew he didn't like it. I just didn't realize, like, at some point between the time we were in high school to the time, like, her younger siblings started going through high school, like, he just started to hate her, and I have no idea why.
Mm,
And, like, him and I were pretty good friends. We're not anymore. Like, I haven't spoken to him in, Jesus, since we were in, getting our associate's degrees together. But, he got weirder as he got older too. No offense to him, but, like, he hates her. And, like, look, as much as him and I were good friends at one point, like, she's still been my friend for, like, 15 years.
right.
Just, like, no. But, like, I don't know why. And, like, when we were in high school, like, you have to understand, when we were in high school, I was a bitch. Like, I was a grade A bitch, and I had no issues picking problems with people and fights and arguments and all that other stuff. And I was told later that I had a reputation among our culture club, and which does explain some things, to be honest. But people were afraid of me, and apparently he was one of them, and that's why she never had any issues with him when I was around, is because he was afraid of me.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's fair, because if anybody would have bothered her, I would have absolutely, yeah, it wouldn't have gone well. So
People were not afraid of me, but they did generally avoid me because I was grumpy. I was
yeah,
very grumpy. Shall we close this out?
sure. Well, as we've proved, 90s trivia better than 80s trivia.
Much, much better,
Probably,
much more
probably,
talented in 90s versus the 80s.
definitely. Definitely know much more about the 90s, but at the same time, hopefully we'll know more about the 2000s. And then even more about the 2010s. So,
I will laugh
mm,
now because I will laugh later if I just completely fuck up all of the 2000s, because I have a feeling I'm going to.
fair point. Um, my knowledge of people will not be getting any better.
No, that's going to be getting worse.
It's pretty much just gonna stay at the 0% in which it is now. So just like, yeah, do you know who this is? And it's just like,
No.
honestly, it's just like I could look at an actor's face and be like, yeah, he was that person in that thing that one time. Or you could tell me their name and I'll be like, oh, I've heard of that. Can't tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no facial to name connection in that at all. So it'll be
You make it
interesting.
interesting. You make it interesting.
I, at the very least, am always entertaining.
That
I
you are.
I might not know jack shit about actors, decades, random pop cultural facts, but I can at the very least entertain the shit out of you guys, which you'll be even more entertained about if we record the D&D thing that we're going to do, cuz y'all are going to listen to me improvise whatever bullshit Ani and Aaron come up with. So
Yeah, and you're gonna see us scramble to be like, oh god, we gotta get things. We're doing D&D for the first time.
Yes, so that should be fun though, because and at the very least, you're balanced out by the fact that while I'll be DMing, I'll have a character that I'll play at the same time. So
Yeah.
at the very least, I could balance it out that way. So it's just like, oh, that way is definitely the entrance to a dragon lair, and we don't want to go that way. There you go.
Yes.
You don't have
Yes.
to wait for a divine sign from the universe that my character could just turn around and go the other way. So it'll be interesting. I
Well,
chose my character stuff already, by the way. So
okay. I
yeah.
obviously have not, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we'll just go with the stuff we've talked about already. So,
All right.
because like when
So
I say I've chosen my character stuff, I mean I know my race and my class.
okay. Okay.
Like the background stuff, I do have general ideas that I'll throw out there with you guys, like when we meet, to get an idea because I've been thinking about it, and I'll send you guys stuff about the Underdark so you can learn some stuff about it. But we'll make our shared backstory when we all meet up to do the characters. So,
Got it.
and then
And
you
what?
guys can develop them as we go. So.
Right. And what's coming up after our 90s episode? It's Goblet?
30s. 30s.
30. Oh, that's right.
Cake. There's going to
30s.
be cake involved. So, yeah, the D&D episode is a little far out. Even though I mentioned it, the next episode is going to be what to expect when you're expecting to turn 30, which will also be a partial it'll be a look at all of the shit that's going to be expected in your 30s, but also a partial celebration of the fact that I am turning 30. So,
I'm leading the charge on this one at 32. Aaron will be following me at 31 as we welcome you into your 30s.
everything hurts.
Everything hurts.
Everything hurts already.
Everything cracks and creaks and squeaks at like the slightest inconvenience. Mental stability is rocky at best. What else do you want
That's
to know?
fair. Like, I mean, every day I
Financial
wake up.
stability is also rocky at best.
Fair enough. I wake up every day and my back is sore and stiff. My mental stability a little better than it was before. Like it used to be like now I'm on like a rocky outcropping, whereas before I was just free falling through the air. So
Yes.
at least
Yes.
there is
I
ground in
I I
the
was,
area.
I was on a crag or a cliff face and just being pelted with ocean water and mussels and clams. Now I'm up on the hill. I can look down at the mussels and clams and ocean spray, get a little mist of it, but not a full fucking face of
Fair enough.
it.
Fair enough, in all honesty. A little less weathering happening.
Just a little
Um,
bit.
still clinging to the side of a cliff that is eroding quickly, but at least you're not in the water anymore.
Right?
so so yeah, that's fair. And financial stability, well, we're millennials. There isn't any. So at the very least, it'll be interesting. So come join us next week for my birthday celebration. And a mini horror stories from the people who've already turned 30 and what who I should expect when I turn 30, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess a mini horror story would work. Not for work, but for life.
A life horror story. There you go. That's what we love. Life horror stories. Hopefully this one has less knives.
I was gonna have plenty of knives. And Erin is in. She's like, I was actually thinking about a D&D episode. I'm like, hive mind. Yeah, all
Yes.
three of us, hive mind.
Sharing that one brain cell.
Yep, that one brain cell just bouncing between the three of us. Like, I don't know what to do.
Whenever we have an idea, it's the brain cell visiting.
You
We're
have a random
hustling.
thought. That's the shared one. That's just like, oh
Yeah.
hey.
It's like the first person didn't finish having the thought before the brain cell left, and the brain cell carried it with him to the next one. So there you go. So that'll be fun. Like after we do the 30s, it will be going into Goblet of Fire, and then after that, I think we'll try and take a look at some D&D. So
Yeah, we'll see what we can fill in between Goblet and Order of the Phoenix.
that's true. But either way, you guys are going to see a lot of Erin in the coming weeks, which is great. So because we all like
I did text her. I'm just like, it was in the group text where I'm just like, I have not had my daily dose of Aaron and I don't like it.
That's true.
My weekly dose of Aaron and I don't like
That's
it.
very true. How long have you and Erin known each other? Like, when did you guys meet?
I met her at one of Geneva's birthday parties that I was hosting at Howl at the Moon. I want to say like 20. It had to have been 2012.
So early college then.
Like we were just about to graduate. Either we had or we were in our last year of CSUN at Starfleet Academy, and I had met Geneva in 2009. So for fall semester of 2009, like, I met her, became friends. And a couple years later, she became friends with Aaron and their friend Disa. So there was their little trio group. And I remember when I met Aaron, I did not like her at all.
What? What, did she know that?
She knows it and she thinks it's fucking hilarious at how our friendship is now. Yeah, I did not like her because I felt very threatened by her. I'm like, who is this person that's constantly hanging out with my friend Geneva, and I feel like I'm gonna lose Geneva as a friend, even though I work so hard to like maintain a friendship here. I'm like, I did not like her at all. And then the more Geneva started bringing Aaron around to our mutual things,
Yeah,
the closer we got, and look at where we are now.
that's fair.
We
That's fair.
are we are soul sisters.
That's true.
Every
Aaron's
time my
amazing
mom will
though.
look at us and be like, you're cut from the same cloth. You wear
So,
the same clothes, you talk the same way."
you're very similar people. Like, that's very, very true.
And I realize I have learned a lot of her facial tells, like her
Yeah.
physical tells.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. That's very fair. Like, when I was picking your guys's, when I was picking her class and her race, and I was thinking to myself, I haven't known Aaron for very long, but based on what I know about you, and I was just like, okay, wait, it's just like I took what I knew about Aaron, and then like some of the things I know about you, and I'm just like, okay, I can extrapolate this, and then I got like the Twilight Domain with the damn fear, and I'm just like, this seems like Aaron to me. And it was correct. And I was just like,
You
yes.
were very correct.
Yeah. And I was just like, because I honestly, I spent so much time thinking about it, because like the class came to me really easily, but I'm just like, the race, and I'm just like
Is
with
the
you, when I
class
was,
the Twilight or the Damphir?
the class is the Twilight,
Okay.
and then the race is
It's the
like the fact that
Damphir.
is the vampire. Yeah. With you, like, tiefling was the very first thing that came to mind. Like, I knew immediately, like, just because in all honesty, I think about like,
Is that my race?
yes,
Okay.
tiefling is a
What's my
race, and
class?
you are the sorcerer. You're a shadow
The
sorcerer.
sorcerer. Okay.
Yeah.
Shadow sorcerer
So,
tiefling. Done.
yep. And so like that easily came to me. Like, the tiefling part immediately default wasn't even a question. Wouldn't have been, no. It's tiefling. Like, that's just all there is to it. And you get a hellhound, by the way. And the
I'm
magic
so
part,
excited for a hellhound.
yeah, the magic. Like, I knew you were a sorcerer. It was just about picking what kind. And I'm just like, no, she's a magic powerhouse. That's just all there is to it. So, because there's two magical powerhouses. The other one's the wizard, but the wizard is extremely study based, and
No.
I'm just like, no. Again, but sorcerer magic is inherent, and it's just like it's within you and all that. And I'm like, no, Ani. And then like, and I'm just like, now I need something very shadow based, and I'm just like, it has to be like darkness and shadow based, or fire. That was my other option, was fire, but the shadow one's much cooler. You get a hellhound out of it, and I'm just like, yeah, no, Ani wants a hellhound. So yeah,
So
and then
excited.
with Aaron, like Twilight, there are no witches like in D&D that you can play, but I wanted something as close to a witch as I could get, because that's what I was kind of going for. And just like magical, not evil, but like witchy.
Elemental.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
witchy, but like in a way that also brings like good things into it too. So like, and I'm just like, that's kind of like where I was going. But also, like, Aaron has this beautiful like goth aesthetic going on, and I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
so it's gotta like, it's a good border. And I gave her the Twilight Domain because it does border both, and it is, being a cleric is very close to being witchy. But she has wonderful healing abilities that go along with her just like magical ass kickery. But Twilight Domain cleric is also one of the most overpowered classes that there is. This girl does not know it yet, but she is a fucking powerhouse of a person. So
She's a Twilight Damphir cleric, and I am a
sorcerer.
shadow sorcerer tiefling. We're both powerhouses.
This is very true. in all honesty. And then what I'm doing with mine is I'm a Gloomstalker Ranger half drow. I have to put half drow because if I don't, there's a lot of disadvantages that comes with being a full drow. But it's a dark elf basically. So I also themed all of it for being within the Underdark too. So
nice.
So and which was really cool because I've never done anything with the Underdark in D&D before. So, but
this is gonna be fun all around.
yeah, and then we have a very small party because usually it's 4 is like an even party, and then they get bigger from there. But I'm gonna multi-class my character at some point, which I will not be doing with either of you, just because it's your first time and multi-classing is a pain in the ass. But I'm gonna multi-class to even it out at some point. So, but
Okay.
we'll go over all of that stuff, and I'll tell you guys about my character and everything at some point. So, but because I figured mine out pretty much as I was typing these things about you guys, I'm like, I already know. So, but yeah. So I've picked out good things for our characters. I've got an idea of like a general idea for our backstory, and then y'all can just take it in whatever direction you want. Like I'm down. So. I don't want to add too many details, obviously, before we all figure it out together. So, but
all right,
it would be nice to find a DM too that would, like could work with it too. So that would be nice.
Once we have this set up and like we get more of what we're doing, I'll start asking my friends.
Yeah,
Be like, help me.
yeah, that would be cool. It would be really fun to get to play with you guys. So, but if you guys like, I'll teach you guys the basics and everything. We'll make the characters and all that, and then I'll run you through like just a basic like how to do like the basic attacks and stuff like that. And then in an episode we record, we'll start the little adventure that we do. But
Okay.
but as we go through the adventure or whatever, like just don't hesitate to ask me any questions. Like I'm fully like I don't care how long it takes. It could take us however long it wants and it needs to. You can just ask me whatever questions you want. If you guys aren't sure about anything, just let me know. I'll help you out. So
perfect.
Because D&D it's a process to learn, but you'll get more comfortable as we go and just ask
as
me
you do it. Yeah.
And anything I don't know, we'll make up, and that's the fun part of D&D is you can do that. So
cool.
I'll homebrew whatever I need to. So
homebrew. All right.
Yeah, that's the word for like making your shit up. Basically, they just call it homebrew. So
I can get behind that.
Yeah, but yeah, so it'll be fun and it'll be cool. So at the very least, I'll get to play D&D with 2 really awesome people. So that'll be fun. And then we can go from there. So that'll be fun. Yeah. But we'll wrap this episode up. We've been recording for 50 minutes. I don't think it'll actually be any longer than 5 minutes of what I take out of this conversation.
Probably. A lot to be cut out of this one.
Yep. So
what come back next time for turning 30?
Turning 30.
Yep.
Oh.
See how that goes.
By the time y'all
And we're all gonna have cake. We're all gonna have cake.
By the time y'all hear this, I'm probably gonna be 30. So like
oh, you will be.
Yeah.
You will be.
Yeah, I share a birthday with Harry Potter, so
also J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, but we're just gonna focus on the Harry Potter part. We're just focusing on one of those things. So yeah.
That's fair.
But thank you guys for joining us. If you tried to answer any of the questions and got them more right than we did, kudos
congratulations
to you, because some of those questions were very just like random out of the blue. So I don't know shit about Michael Jordan. I'm sorry.
Not a sports person here. If you guys know of any other trivia things we can do, please let us know. If you have trivia to send our way, we'll answer those and incorporate that too.
Yeah, or
help
if there's
us.
Any other help. I said help. If there's any other games you guys would like to listen to us try out, let us know, because we're down for that. So
games that are 2 people for 2 people.
2 people, yeah. We might be able to wrangle a third person in.
Might be able to wrangle Aaron in sometime, but like generally for 2 people.
The game generally nice. For 2 people, that's fair. Aaron's joining us for Goblet of Fire, but I'll have the first guest of one of my friends for Order of the
Phoenix. Yes, we get to meet Ariel.
Yep, we'll meet Ariel. So that'll be fun. Yeah. Alrighty. Peace out, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. tune in next week for more fuckery because we have some serious questions and concerns.
For the record, never did find out why the cops were here. I have no idea what it was. It didn't even make the news.